What is the biggest longevity trend that people need to stop?
I think those concoctions of supplements that have everything in there. Life is not just supplements and gyms. Longevity should be, in my view, associated with movement. BDNF is the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps with neuroplasticity. Research shows that doing the two things at once keep up and help your neuroplasticity much more than
How do movement actually protect the brain?
exercise cardiovascularly to actually improve.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you can improve your memory with cardio?
Yes. Research is showing that older brains are better at seeing the bigger picture than pattern recognition. Therefore, they can help make better executive function and decision making.
Let's advise the leaders if they want to reach a healthy 60s, what they should start doing now.
There's 4 things you have to start doing.
By 2030, 1 in 4 Singapore citizens will be aged 65 and above. Life expectancy in Singapore now exceeds 83 years, one of the highest in the world. At the same time, across developed economies, labor force participation among people aged 55 and 64 have risen steadily over the past 2 decades. People are working longer. Sometimes by choice, sometimes by necessity, often because their expertise is still critical. But here is the tension. We build modern retirement systems on assumptions that no longer reflect reality. When retirement ages were set around 60 or 65, life expectancy in more developed economies were barely above that number. The system assumed shorter retirements, smaller aging populations, and linear career paths. That assumption no longer holds. So, the real question is this. Have workers' policies, leadership expectations, and benefit structures evolved at the same pace as longevity itself? Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the IPG interview series, where real talk meets global life. I'm Caro, your host, and today's episode is about longevity, ageism, and whether companies are truly prepared for an aging workforce. Joining me is AnnaMilani, founder and CEO of Sparked and head of physical and cognitive performance at Chi Longevity. Anna works at the intersection of strength, neuroscience, and long-term performance design, helping individuals and organizations stay sharp over decades, not just years. Let's do this. Welcome, Anna.
Hello.
My first question for you is, do you think companies are truly prepared for people working into their 60s and even 70s?
I think some of them are starting to think about it, but currently I think most of them are not prepared. I think there's a lot of sort of uncertainty in certain population, in people over 50, and there's a lot of challenges around that. So with longevity and health span comes a lot of issues that need to be taken care of in the workforce.
Did you see can you tell me real examples of age bias that leaders might not even realize that they are creating in their work environment?
Yeah, I think we've all heard of cases of people getting to a certain age in the corporate space, typically around 55 or so. They've had probably successful careers, and all of a sudden they may be made redundant and are struggling to get back into the workforce. Maybe they're getting shorter term contracts and so on. And some of these changes might be subtle, like they have been pushed out, new hires have come in, younger people with less expertise and, being paid less. But what happens to these people? So subtly, they've been pushed out of the workforce instead of actually being nurtured, and instead of companies addressing these issues that are very, very current. And with a global aging population, globally, essentially.
how do you come to Singapore? How long you been here? And well, how was the process to found your company, Sparked?
So I came here now 13 years ago when my boyfriend back in the day, who is now my husband, and I have 3 kids with him, was moving here for work. So he literally said, do you want to come and see for 3 days? What do you think of it? I was like, okay, let's do that. And then I just moved. So a bit of a crazy, impulsive decision.
Okay.
Clearly not a lot of executive function back in the day, but I am getting wiser. So I just moved and kind of embraced life here. I did some jobs and worked here and sort of got exposed to the workplace scenario here. Then I did my master's, I did an MBA, then I went and had 3 kids. And while I was between number 2 and number 3, I started to think about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it and how I wanted to get back into the workforce in a way and be feeling purposely fulfilled at work. And so I decided to fund my company, and which is in physical and cognitive health, brain exercise, brain movement, so on. And that's how I founded Sparked. And I still very much love it. I think it's such a growing field, and it's a field that can impact so many lives and people across the society in general, not just in the workplace, but very much so also in the workplace. That's been keeping me busy.
That's good. Good to hear. So when you work, what do you do normally? Your clients, who they are, and what they come to you normally.
Yeah, so our clients are really a variety of individuals that can be from 25-year-old to literally 70 plus. In fact, we see a massive spectrum of ages. Younger crowds typically come for group sessions. They come with their colleagues, with their friends. And they enjoy that social community environment. When we see people over sort of 45 with more high disposable income, they tend to want to have more personalized programs that fits their need, their declining physiques and brains. So they want to see something a bit more specific for them. So they tend to go for one-to-one sessions to work around their busy schedules, but also to really target what they're looking for, what they're trying to improve from a physical and from a cognitive perspective. We see a lot of corporates, people that are highly successful. We see a lot of business owners, people that sit on boards, on very highly successful individuals that are really interested in the cognitive performance angle. So we also do work with some corporates where we do team building events or events at their offices, or they come to our space and we bring the teams together with cognitive and physical challenges, which are fun, gamified, and very inclusive. So they don't have to be intimidated by that.
Okay. Where did you see are the most common pain points that they have? They come to you with, what is it? What it's a stress or?
Yeah, I mean, from a physical perspective, there's a lot of awareness now on muscle mass, keeping up with your muscle mass as we age in. It's been everywhere in the press, links to that with cognition. So from a physical perspective, I would say most people think they do enough cardio, even if they don't, but most people want the strength workout. So from a physical perspective, when it comes to a cognitive perspective, it's that reaction time is a big one. They may not have noticed that before they come to the gym, but that may have manifested through their driving. Maybe they haven't even realized it, but slowly reaction time may have declined. So when they come and do certain games and testing, we have clients that actually are shocked by their reaction time. They're like, whoa, I didn't realize I was that slow. you are doing it so much quicker than me. Okay, I practice it every day. So yes, I am fairly quick, but they are it's really eye-opening for them. Or they do certain drills where they're doing peripheral vision or eye-hand coordination, and same thing there. It's very, very eye-opening. However, subjectively, most people would say, my memory is not as sharp as it was. I don't remember faces as well as before, names of people, or where they've put certain objects or things like that. But then when you dig deeper as you're training with them, oftentimes you may realize that actually they forget things because they haven't even paid attention to the task at the beginning. So attention is quite a big one, but is covered from that perspective. So they associate memory first, but then you realize. So doing attention training is actually very important. So I prescribe a fair bit of that for clients. Recall again, memory.
Okay, so when we hit 40s or 50s, where is the first thing that starts to slip if we don't press attention to it?
From a physical and cognitive perspective, I mean, there are certain markers that can slow down. Like if we don't do cardiovascular activity, our VO2 max capacity, our cardiovascular system declines. Or again, from a physical perspective, our muscular system slows down. So we start losing muscle and power over the decades. So the same happens to our neuromuscular system. That's why we have programs for fall prevention later down the line, because people start losing their balance. And these happen over a long period of time. Of course, cognitive decline kicks in. Our neuroplasticity and our processing speed peaks around the 20s and 25-year-olds. And then after that, we start declining across the board. So when we are 40, essentially, we should have already started training way before in order to sustain that declining aging curve.
Okay. So in terms of corporate, you see a more intention of companies, HR, decision makers looking for solutions for their workforce, and in terms of training, in terms of structure, include this type of cognitive and strength training into their offering for the employees.
Yeah. I do, yes. I think they are experimenting a little bit into what works and what doesn't. I think there's still a bit of confusion. They don't know how to implement certain strategy. Like, do they want to offer a gym membership? Do they want to give the employee the benefits of joining a gym and paying for it? Or do they want to bring a gym to their workplace? Or how far do they want to push it? Or what kind of programs do they want to implement? Or they may be struggling with, do we impose this to our workplace? We can't really do that. So how do we incentivize people in actually staying healthier? But they have certainly realized it's super important to do that because, as we obviously discussed, people are living longer. People, they don't want people also to be absent from work or sick from work and having to pay for that. These are real costs for companies. So how do they avoid that?
Correct.
Yeah, and actually this morning, as I was thinking about the questions for this chat today, I remembered how about 18 years ago or even 20 years ago, when I was in London, I was sometimes doing chair massages back in the day. And those were offered to companies like Google and other companies in the city of London. And I tell you, people would not call in sick on the Monday when the massage person was coming in, right? So I'm not saying to go back to those type of initiatives, but certainly there needs to be some thinking and strategy into long-term programs.
Okay, let's do a myth buster. Wow, a quick one. Age or attitude? Which is the biggest hurdle for the modern office?
Oh, attitude. I mean, as in age is the biggest hurdle, but it's people's attitude towards it, right? So
yeah. Retirement at 65, goal to reach, or outdated idea?
outdated idea.
Why?
Well, if you want to retire and if you can retire, yes, by all means, you should be choosing your own life. We are all CEOs of our own lives, right? So if this is what one wants and can afford, then by all means. But I don't think it should be something that is imposed to us by companies or governments. If we are still extremely functioning, both physically and cognitively, we should be the one choosing. Because a lot of people work because they love what they do. They have a purpose in it. So
True.
Why impose?
It's been young actually an advantage now that we are in this world of AI. I know that's a tricky one.
In a way, I think so. I think maybe we can, there are some assumptions made that older people struggle more with AI and change and innovation and technology and all that. On the other hand, I know people that have embraced it fully, which is great. It's a tool. So do older people typically struggle with it? Yes. Have I even had fears about it? Yes, until I kind of started diving into it and realized actually it's a great tool we can use. Are younger people typically savvier on it? Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see kids, they pick up things so easily and think mommy's a dinosaur with a VR or anything like that. But I think what's really, really important in the corporate space is is addressing these issues through this intergenerational workforce and allowing for people to excel in the skills they have. So younger people are more savvier. Fantastic. Let them mentor and support older people, seniors. Seniors, if we want to call them seniors or however we want to define it.
Veterans.
Are veterans. Wow. Okay. And they maybe are more wise. They've gone through more life experiences. They can be advisors. They can help younger generations in certain decision making. So why not actually get them to work together and support each other in a much healthier workplace?
If you could give a 50 years old founder one brain strategy, what would that be?
Well, work your brain. Exercise it as well as your physical health. If I think about corporates, oftentimes things have changed. People understand now the importance of staying healthy and for performance, for even corporate and work performance, which is fantastic. So I would stress that even more. And to take it to the next level, think about your cognitive performance and your corporate abilities. How are you going to keep up with that? And how are you going to maintain and sustain processing speed, accurate decision making, strategy? So how are you going to sustain all these abilities in cognition that are super important from a work performance perspective?
Most people think longevity is supplements and gym routines. Why is that too narrow?
Because life is not just supplements and gyms. I think is a very reason being is because we're all very, very different and we thrive on different things. So oftentimes people associate, as you say, longevity with gym. Actually, longevity should be, in my view, associated with movement more than anything when it comes to, because you may not even need to go to a gym to actually keep up with health aspects. Mm-hmm. So it's more around behavior. What kind of habits do you adopt at a certain age to lead a healthy lifestyle? So it's just much, much bigger than that. It's your purpose in the workplace. It's your social connections, is your sleep, is your cognitive ability, is your hobbies, is how engaged are you in the workplace or outside.
Connecting to that, I mean, you speak about dual task training and cognitive load. In simple terms, what does training the brain and body together matter more as we age?
Yeah. So there's research that shows that as we are aging, typically we lose the ability to do all tasks. So doing a physical and a cognitive task at the same time, which could be even just walking. Yeah. You may notice people that are elderly and they can't even maintain the ability to answer a question as you are walking with them. They stop, then they think, and then they answer. But so is the ability of driving. So many times I catch myself out telling to my kids, be quiet, I'm driving, I need to be focused. Yeah, and I'm nowhere near 50, it's not true, but I'm not there yet. So these are small things. And when it comes to the workplace, is the ability to stay focused, as an example. Lots of people complain past 50, I realize I cannot maintain my focus for as long as possible. So the question was? I've driven away from it.
Talking about concentration and cognitive sharpness.
Yeah, dual tasking.
Yes.
So why is it better? It's better because research shows that doing the two things at once keep up and help your neuroplasticity much more than if you were doing the two tasks separately. So that's one of the reasons. So the ability to multitask at work and sustain capabilities longer.
Can be that one of the advices for 50 years founders, that they need to keep up with their cognitive and also their movement, the strength.
Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Keep fit physically and mentally.
Yes. How do movement actually protect the brain?
So movement protects the brain in many, many ways. Yeah. So when we exercise and we start reaping the benefits of it, exercise becomes more of a habit. So from a behavioral perspective, we are then typically more inclined to stick to the exercise. With that, it brings a lot of hormones that are actually supporting brain health. Yeah, we have things like dopamine, serotonin, all these happy hormones that makes us feel good. So oftentimes, most people never really regret having done exercise. They may start feeling a bit cloggy and a bit tired and fatigued, but then when they finish the session, they're like, oh, I feel so much more awake. I'm glad I exercised. So that's also very important. Growth factors, neurotransmitters, BDNF. BDNF is the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps with neuroplasticity. So the more we exercise, the more we produce that, especially in certain parts of the brain. There's a lot of research on the hippocampus, the areas on the brain here that are associated with learning, with memory, with recall. Again, with older adults, recall, word recalling. Oh, I cannot remember that word. So again, exercise cardiovascularly to actually improve BDNF.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you can improve your memory with cardio?
Yes.
Lovely.
Definitely.
I need to do lots of cardio.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Okay. But it's actually, bringing your heart rate up. Yeah. Oftentimes I speak to seniors, and when I ask them about cardio, they said, I go for walks every day. Well, that is fantastic because you're keeping up with your daily steps. But we need to raise that heart rate into higher zones. Because then there's a cascade of hormones that actually help with neuroplasticity.
All right. If you, let's advise the leaders now in their 40s and 50s, if they want to reach a healthy 60s, what they should start doing now.
Wow. Okay. There's 4 things you have to start doing. Okay. Wow. Okay. One is do your cardiovascular exercise. Okay. A mix of zone 2. Yeah. Good for mitochondrial health. And then a mix of zone 4 and 5. So high intensity, bringing your heart rate up. Okay. Strength training. Yeah. 2 sessions a week. That's good enough. You're working on your strength, on your power, functional movement, to keep up with muscle mass. Then we talk about neuromuscular training, which is balance, stability, and agility and motor skills. So if you are doing tennis or soccer or any kind of sports, keep up with that. That's neuromuscular training.
Paddle.
There you go. Very good. Yes, absolutely great. It works on your depth perception, on your peripheral vision and visual spatial ability. So very good sports, good for brain health. And of course, working on your cerebellum because it's motor skills. Yeah. So you're definitely targeting lots of different brain regions. And then doing dual task cognitive motor training and cognitive training. So these are the 4 things. I know it's a lot.
Yes. Well, but it's, I mean, that's, yeah, I think it's great. Okay. So how can you tell, what can you tell an executive is starting to lose their edge? Even if their numbers still look great, how can you tell that they are not at their best?
Yeah. So if they've realized it, yeah, because it's hard as successful, high-performing individuals, it's hard to admit to ourselves something's changed. So noticing that, having that sort of metacognition to realize, things are not quite the same. So first and foremost, acknowledging that. I think that's very, very powerful and very, very important.
Yeah.
Not just, I have people, sometimes I see people, they are very confident and few sessions down the line, they then start opening up and they'll admit, actually, I have noticed that,
this is
there's something I forget where I put my keys or I forget things. So that's already first and foremost very, very powerful. So if you notice that, then there are cognitive tests, even online, that you can do to assess where is your cognitive ability at this point in time. So you can know where is your short-term memory, where is your visual memory, where is your executive function, where is your response inhibition. So you can get an accurate assessment compared to your peers of where you are at this moment. And that's, again, it's eye-opening for most people because most people have not done a cognitive test. So taking a cognitive test, it's something that I advise all the time to people.
Cognitive test. Okay.
Cognitive
and you
test.
can do this in Singapore.
Yes, you can do this online. We offer them. So yes, very, very powerful. It's actually easy and sort of, unfortunately, very humbling. You just realize how, wow, I mean, I can work on my brain so much more to achieve, hopefully, so much more. So doing cognitive testing, of course, if there's concern for more serious matters, if you, but those will be obvious concerns. If people are forgetting how to make a cup of coffee, that's where you already have like cognitive decline. And
we all know about the word burnout, right? But what's the difference between being work tired and you having a nervous system actually being exhausted?
That's a big question. I was literally listening to something the other day, and they were talking about burnout and stress, and they were referring to people that would walk into doctors' clinics and actually thinking or being worried about people that have burnout, supposedly, could walk into a doctor's office and be worried about having like a very important disease like cancer or like being over worried. They are so exhausted and so burnt out that they're literally worried about a big condition. Whereas being stressed is being stressed by factors of everyday life, specific life. So like acute episodes of stress as opposed to long-term chronic stress.
So you're saying that being exhausted and on a cognitive level, it's more about like for you feeling like you have bigger diseases like or like cancer or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I heard and listened to the other day. Okay, so don't quote me. I haven't done a lot of research on this. Okay, but it makes sense. It's kind of that inability of being able to cope with life, right? Even with the smallest challenges, something comes at you and you're like, whoa, I don't know how to deal. Like in Italy, we say drowning in a glass of water. when there's like a small problem, you make it so big that it seems unsurmountable. So I think the constant stress, the chronic stress, can lead to having certain sort of catastrophic thoughts, maybe in that sense.
Muscle or mind? If you have 20 minutes to train,
10 and 10.
which do you train?
10 and 10.
10 and 10.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I would do my physical first. So I bring blood flow to the brain. So I activate and I bring oxygen there. And then I do my cognitive.
What is the biggest longevity trend that people need to stop wasting money on?
Ooh. I think those concoctions of supplements that have everything in there is one of them. Because how do you know what to take if you haven't even tested? Like, you have to test your bloods first to know, am I missing this? Am I missing that? Why are you just going to waste money in taking something that maybe you don't need?
Okay. Yeah. Coffee or nap at 3 p.m. for a flogging executive?
Wow. I would say cognitive training. A quick round of cognitive reaction training would be my answer. I don't drink coffee after 1 o'clock, so I can't. Actually, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
A morning person and a night owl. Does it matter for long-term brain health?
We are all different, so it depends. We actually work on different circadian rhythms. So I admit I don't know the full science of it, but they're actually based on our genome. We can actually find out what kind of type of person we are.
So it would depend.
Yeah, it would depend. And I think it's very important we very much listen to ourselves and know what we are. I mean, I have clients that tell me I cannot function before 1 p.m. I particularly like 11 a.m., 10 and 11 a.m. So it depends.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all different.
Back to corporate life. Why do many companies invest in wellness perks but ignore workplace policies that support aging professionals?
So there's this big longevity economy. There's this big addressing clients that are seniors and, having to look good for companies. They always, I'm going to be a bit non very diplomatic here, but there's a lot of that corporate social responsibility. We need to look good. We need to show that we are doing certain things for our clients, for our employees. But my question is, where is the real strategy and where is the real scope? Why are we doing these things? And what are we really trying to achieve? Are we really trying to make a change and bring impact? Or is it just a tick in the box exercise? And I think this is where, when you asked, are companies ready for health span at work? I think this is where we really have to strategize better and think better. How are we bringing change?
What do you think is going to happen if companies continue ignoring longevity as part of their strategy?
Well, I think they're going to have more problems than anything else, because they are going to be hit with and they are going to be themselves in HR leaders in X amount of years. They're going to be in the same spot. And what if they haven't come prepared, ready for that moment where all of a sudden, I'm the one being kicked out because I'm 60, 50. What now? So we can't wait too long. I think people are really living now, easily up to their 90s. Yes. So from 60 to 90 is 30 years. It's a third of a life. I mean, if I think in 15 years I'm out of the workplace, wow, what am I going to do?
What do you think is the biggest mistake that people think they make when they swap a veteran from a younger version of themselves? It's normally cheaper.
Yeah, of course, cost is an issue. They'll be like, this new person is going to cost us less. It's going to have more energy, maybe more enthusiasm for the job. This old person's done it for so long and it's so expensive. But I think it's very short-sighted because, different generations are different. And a lot of the younger generation, I see it in my kids, they don't take any nonsense from, right? So all of a sudden, a senior leader having to deal with younger people that are not going to listen to what this person is saying is going to cause trouble. So a mix of young and elderly, in my view, is really key to company success.
Yes. And there's also this knowledge already that it takes around 28 weeks for a new hire to actually take over the role. So the organization will take like 7 months to only effectively paying a learning tax during that time. And I'm very curious about this study that talks about crystallized intelligence. I don't know if you heard about it.
Actually, no.
The crystallized intelligence that says, yes, the one that says that, the knowledge of a younger generation is more into the speed. It calls fluid intelligence because it's more about speed, processing. And then you have the crystallized intelligence that it's the one that comes with the experience. So when in a crisis, what do you need? You need someone who have done I've been done these mistakes maybe 3-4 times, and they already know the shortcut to get to the solution in a faster way. Not because they're fast or they think fast. It's because they've been there, done that. Yeah. Very interesting, that study. And I see that in this time, this is very important to acknowledge and to realize, because as you said, our population are aging. So we need to take advantage of the knowledge and the people that we have in the corporate space.
Yeah, 100%. And now, I don't know, you mentioned the study. Yes, I know what you're referring to. Exactly that. Super important, because as our brain ages as well, we are more able to see the bigger picture. So our neurons may be not as fast as younger people's neurons, yeah? There may be a bit less myelination and so on. So the processing speed may be slower, as you just said. But actually, research is showing that older brains are better at seeing the bigger picture exactly for that, for experience and pattern recognition. Therefore, they can help make better executive function and decision-making decisions.
If HR leaders want their workforce to stay strong for the next decade, what do they need to rethink today?
I think the retention and engagement strategy and how to keep their health, their workforce healthy, but also really asking them, what do you want to do? How do you see your role evolving? As in communication, conversation, connection with the people that are reaching that certain age. How do you want to? Do you want to remain engaged with the organization? What can we do to support you in this transition period? I think that's what they should be thinking about.
Do you believe that we need to continue having the retirement age to 65, or we need to maybe extend it? Because here, at least in Singapore, it will extend it very soon to 70 because of the population. So 1 in 4 by 2030, 1 in 4 Singaporean residents will be 64.
Wow.
So I what do you think about it?
Obviously, there are economic reasons to extend in that, contributions, pensions, aging population. So obviously, there are reasons that are bigger than what I think. However, in an ideal world, it should be an option. It should be your decision. So, am I ready for this? Can I financially afford to retire? Or do I love doing what I do and I want to continue doing it if I'm, of course, capable, if I have the health and the cognitive capacity to do so? So I think we should empower people to choose what they want to do and how they feel about it, unless there's health issues or things that need to be tackled.
Who is more stressed today, at 20 years old or at 6 years old?
Oh, I have no idea, but I'm closer to more 60-year-olds, so I've seen a lot of them being stressed. I've seen it in a very big way, more than when sort of my parents were even retiring or that. They kind of were more prepared for retirement than people now. So probably the 60-year-olds, but what do I know? I'm so far from 20, so.
Okay. What about remote work? Does it help us age better, you think? Or does isolation hurts performance?
I think most places now should at least offer a hybrid model of work. Being connected to your colleagues is certainly very, very important. I was reading something about burnout in the workplace during COVID, because actually people were feeling very isolated. They may not have had more workload, but because they were so isolated, they were feeling the pressure of burnout, basically. However, when we went back to the workplace, we were like, oh, I also want to work from home a little bit sometimes, because I can pop down to the gym or do whatever, or have lunch with my spouse. So a hybrid model that suits individuals and empower them again to be productive and effective should be, in my view, what's being looked at. So sort of a performance-driven model in a way.
In your way, what is one word that will be relevant for people over 60s in the future in the work environment?
Stay sharp and enjoy.
I love it.
Enjoy what you do.
Stay sharp and enjoy it. All right. I like it. Would you rather have the body of a 30 years old or the wisdom of a 70 years old?
The wisdom of a 70 years old.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, Anna, if longevity is increasing, but workplace systems are not evolving, what must organizations commit to today to protect both their people and long-term performance capacity?
Start with anything. I mean, organization may start with small activities, health activities, events, talks, seminars, team building events that devolve around exercise, implementing strategies to get their employees active during the daytime, or looking at healthy habits, sleep, nutrition, sort of creating an environment that supports that, both at work and in their lives. I mean, the picture is very big and there's a lot that can be done, but even started with small initiatives that even educate the workforce in why they should be thinking about this, not imposing it in an imposing way, but this is going to be good because the reality is that So starting even small with small things, and then bit by bit seeing what works or what doesn't, and then thinking about the bigger picture and how you can implement bigger strategies across companies.
So in terms of corporate, you see a more intention of companies, HRs, decision makers looking for solutions for their workforce, and in terms of training, in terms of structure, include this type of cognitive and strength training into their offering for the employees.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I think they are experimenting a little bit into what works and what doesn't. I think there's still a bit of confusion. They don't know how to implement certain strategy. Like, do they want to offer a gym membership? Do they want to give the employee the benefits of joining a gym and paying for it? Or do they want to bring a gym to their workplace? Or how far do they want to push it? Or what kind of programs do they want to implement? Or they may be struggling with, do we impose this to our workplace. We can't really do that. So how do we incentivize people in actually staying healthier? But they have certainly realized it's super important to do that because, as we obviously discussed, people are living longer. People, they don't want people also to be absent from work or sick from work and having to pay for that. These are real costs for companies. So how do they avoid that?
Correct.
Yeah, and actually this morning, as I was thinking about the questions for this chat today, I remembered how about 18 years ago or even 20 years ago, when I was in London, I was sometimes doing chair massages back in the day, and those were offered to companies like Google and other companies in the city of London. And I tell you, people would not call in sick on the Monday when the massage person was coming in, right? So I'm not saying to go back to those type of initiatives, but certainly there needs to be some thinking and strategy into long-term programs.
Well, thank you, Anna, for your time today. It was lovely to have you and very insightful on how the workplace should be or could be or
will be
and knowing that there are companies like you and people like you that are like helping individuals, leaders, executives, and common people to grow and be older, wiser, but also healthier. Thank you so much for your time.